morning and happy Sunday. Hope everyone is having a great start to the end of their weekend. But it is going to be another hot day here in San Antonio. Taking a live look right now, we have a little bit of some clouds in the area. You can see we have a bit of a hazy start for your Sunday. Morgan's Wonderland. You can see some of that blue sky is trying to appear, but I do think we're going to see the sun for this afternoon. Now, right now we're looking at 75 degrees for the airport, 79 in Stinson. So it doesn't feel too bad right now. That cloud coverage is really helping to keep the heat a little bit, keep the heat down a bit. And a dew point right now is at 67, so it's not too humid out there. Definitely bearable if you're going to be out and about for getting ready for this afternoon. And we have a light wind at 7 miles per hour. Now, our current temperatures across the region is in the mid-70s. Right now, San Antonio is at 75. Floresville is at 79, Pleasanton at 78. So they're a little bit warmer for those cities farther south. They are going to be more towards getting close already to that 80-degree mark. But actually, Bernie was very cool this morning. If you were up at 7 a.m., there was 64 degrees for them up towards the hill country. So very nice, cool weather for them to start. However, it was still a bit humid, but definitely very nice from that 90-degree weather that we've been having. It is much cooler in the mornings. Now, looking at the dew point, we have 67 for San Antonio, so that's not too bad. The humidity isn't terrible, but Floresville, Seguin, New Braunfels, even San Marcos had a 72. That is really that humidity where you can just feel it on your skin right when you step outside. It's also not great for the heat indices. Once you get into that hottest part of the afternoon, the hottest part of the day, you really start to feel it on your skin, and it actually makes the temperature feel much warmer with those dew points getting at that 70-degree mark. But we're at 67, so we're not too bad. Bernie is much better, much drier air for them out in Bernie at 61. Now, let's look at the wind speeds. We're going to put this into motion. First, let's look at future dew points, because this is actually going to show us how the moisture is going to kind of take a step back on Sunday night. So if you do have plans to go out, it's actually going to be pretty dry. It's going to feel pretty nice out there for Sunday at 8:30. So later this evening, but take a look at all that green. That green color comes back on Monday morning. And so you can see that pretty much everyone, even places like Pleasanton and Floresville and even Seguin, they're getting a little bit more humid than us here in the Alamo City. Now, the same thing happens Monday night. You can see that the moisture kind of backs off. And so we're in the 50s. And then Bernie is at 49. So when we're in the 50s, it's very dry. It feels actually pretty pleasant once the sun goes down. So that's something to look forward to if you have plans out Monday night. It's not going to feel too bad. But then take a look at that green color comes back. So the moisture comes back on Tuesday morning. So this is going to be kind of a similar pattern to what we will see for the next couple of days. We're going to have very humid mornings and even evenings, but the afternoon's going to feel quite dry. Now, here are the winds. We're at around 6 miles per hour for San Antonio, so not too bad, just a light wind out there. But we are going to see them gust a bit as we go into later this afternoon, around 13, 17 miles per hour, so not too bad. Then as we go into tomorrow morning, they're going to be a little bit more breezy, but you can see towards Rock Springs and Kerrville, it gets with that red color. So that's getting close to that 20 mile per hour range for the hill country. And, you know, in the teens is where we're going to be staying, around 15 miles per hour. But then take a look Monday afternoon. So I'm going to roll this back. Monday afternoon, or 20 miles per hour. So much more gusty on Monday. And even into Tuesday, you can see that we're going to get 24 miles per hour for Pleasanton and 23 for San Antonio as we go into overnight Monday and into Tuesday morning. So, let's see. Now, across Texas, we're looking fairly dry. So we don't have any rain anywhere on the Lone Star State, but I'm going to move this just further north. You can see that places like Kansas, Oklahoma are really dealing with some more, they're dealing with some severe weather. So for them, they're going to be under those severe thunderstorm watches, which is that pink color. And then those orange boxes are going to be severe thunderstorm warnings. So they are dealing with some severe weather for this Sunday morning. But for Texas, it's looking pretty good. Just some of that hazy cloud cover for right now. But something we are dealing with is the heat. This is going to be a record already for the month of May. The month of May has already set a record to be the hottest May on record here in 2022. So, I mean, take a look at these temperatures. We had Saturday and Sunday from last weekend where we hit over 100 degrees. Both days we hit 101. And that was very rare for this time of year. We're usually in the mid 80s, so 20 degrees above average. And so every single day with this calendar, it shows that every single day we have been above average. And, you know, we still have 2.5 more weeks to go. Doesn't look like it's going to be good news for summer because we're already dealing with some very warm summer-like temperatures. So here is the May heat wave. This was our average temperature so far. We have had an average temperature of 82 degrees in the month of May. The second place was 1996, May. That's where we had a mean temperature of 81 degrees. But this May also actually ranks 5th for the driest month on record. So it's not first place, but it still is top 5 for driest. And then we, of course, are number 1 for the warmest month of May. Now, once again, we're going to look at the drought. So I'm just going to zoom it out again because I want you to see that everybody in Texas, for the most part, is dealing with, almost everybody in Texas is dealing with some kind of drought. They're pretty good off to the east. Places like Houston, Dallas, they're actually not experiencing too much drought there. But you can really see that just even other states are in this red color. You know, places like New Mexico, I mean, they are also experiencing some extreme drought, just like us in Bexar County. So as we zoom in, you can see that half of Bexar County is in this red color. So that's going to be that extreme drought. And just to the west with that more burgundy color, that's going to be exceptional drought. But places like New Braunfels and Gonzales have actually gotten better. So they are not dealing with as much of an issue as needing the rain as we are here in San Antonio. Now, here's one reason why, we're going through this very, very warm type of weather pattern, why we are in this heat wave. It's because we're under this big ridge of high pressure, and it really doesn't allow much development, we're not seeing any fronts come in, we're not seeing much as far as much support and providing any lift for any of those rain showers that we desperately need. And you can see that, so this is Tuesday morning. It's going to be a little bit more, this red color is going to be more of a zonal pattern, but we are still going to be under that high pressure, and it's not going away all the way into your Wednesday and into your Thursday, it pretty much just sits over Texas. So that means we're not going to see much change as far as temperatures are concerned. And you'll see that in the 7-day forecast in just a minute. But the heat wave, the heat really cranks up as we go into your Sunday afternoon. So for tonight, this is going to be around 3 o'clock, 95 degrees. And then as we go into Sunday evening, 5:30, 96 degrees. So very, very warm temperatures. And actually yesterday, we didn't break a record, but yesterday is when we actually we did match the record for yesterday. Today's record would be, let me check, 96 degrees. And I do think that I think we're going to break that record for today. So this is this evening, and then I'm going to fast forward this into when the eclipse will start on around 10:30. But I want you to also see that by 9 p.m. it's going to cool down to 80, but even 8:45 this evening, it's still going to be in the 90s. And yesterday, it was still 90 degrees at 9 o'clock. So the heat really does it's pretty stubborn, even through as the sun goes down. And so the lunar eclipse will start at around 10:30. So that's going to be around 85 degrees. Kerrville, you're looking at 82. Fredericksburg, 82 as well. And Carrizo Springs is going to still be at 90. So it's still very warm for them. And the eclipse should end around 12:45. So you have, a good couple hours to really get a good glimpse of the eclipse for late tonight. So you really want to go out usually around an hour, I say an hour before midnight is where you can still see that maximum eclipse. But I'll show you a timeline in just a moment. Now, as we put this into Monday morning, if you have any plans, it's going to be really nice tomorrow morning. So that would be the time I would say to go out and do any type of run, or if you're going to be outside doing any type of yard work, then to do it just early in the morning before we feel those 90-degree temperatures. And so here is the lunar eclipse. It's going to be going on tonight at 11:11, so it's really easy to remember. 11:11 p.m. is when you're going to see the maximum eclipse, and the full eclipse begins around 10:29 and ends at 11:53. And I have a bigger graphic, so you can see the times a little bit better. But first, I just want you to see that kind of the timeline of what's going to be going on as far as how the moon's going to be changing a certain color. So when we say the full eclipse begins and when the full eclipse ends, it's going to be because that's when you can see the moon change into that reddish orange color. So that's going to be between those two times, 10:30 and 11:53. But the maximum, which is right in between those two times, would be at 11:11. So that is going to be when you can actually see the moon be in the shadow. What happens is that the Earth actually blocks sunlight from hitting the moon, so it casts a shadow over the moon, and it starts to turn reddish orange because of the longer wavelengths, the red wavelengths that kind of bend and refract around the Earth's atmosphere and is reflected back to our eyes and what we see when we look up at the moon. So that's going to be that reddish color is going to be what's reflecting off the moon and starting to hit and bend around the Earth's atmosphere and reflect back to us. So this would be a pretty cool sight to see, and it is going to be mostly clear skies. So good news is, because last year I would say it wasn't last year, it was November is where we had the chance to see a partial eclipse. And unfortunately, it was a little bit cloudy, so I don't think everybody could really see that. But now you can see both the partial eclipse, so it still goes through a partial eclipse before it goes to the full eclipse and changes color. And this is also where they got that name. They would call it a blood moon. It just started to get that nickname because it would change to that more reddish color. And so here's a little bit of a better graphic, so you can see the times really kind of written out here. The partial eclipse, and this is when you can see the shadow just kind of starting to cast a shadow on the moon. And this is going to, you can kind of still see a sliver, a more crescent shape of the moon as it starts to get blocked with the shadow. So that's going to start at 9:30. So technically you can go out at 9:30 and you don't need any binoculars, you don't need any telescopes. You can just go out and look up at the moon and start to see around 9:30 that partial eclipse starting, which is going to be more of that crescent shape. And then the shadow slowly starts to cover the full moon at 10:30. So it'll continue from 10:30 to 11:53. That'll be the full time you have to see the moon completely covered with a shadow. And the maximum eclipse would be 11:11. So it's really easy to remember. Just remember 11:11 p.m. tonight. And then slowly the moon will start to reappear from its shadow. And that is going to be, as the partial eclipse ends, be 12:55 Monday morning. So you can stay up, if you can stay up later, then you can stay up all the way until the second partial eclipse. And in San Antonio, there's actually a lunar eclipse viewing party that's going to be going on at McAllister Park. And so this is going to be at the field next to the dog park. It begins at 8 o'clock this evening, and it's brought to you by the San Antonio League of Sidewalk Astronomers. So this group is really cool. It's a local group, and they are going to also bring telescopes, and usually everybody can kind of take turns and look through the telescope, and that'll be really cool if you've never gotten the chance to look through a telescope, but to look into a telescope to see the lunar eclipse, even if it's just for a little bit, is just a really cool sight to see. And it's something that you could take, family to, take the kids to, experience this pretty cool event. And this is going to be, once again, starting at 8 o'clock this evening. And here's your hour-by-hour forecast. So I think we're gonna start to hit the 80s as we get closer to noon. And I think we're gonna hit the 90s as we get towards the hottest part of the day, around 3 o'clock. So we are expecting 90s, expecting a high temperature of 98 degrees. So very, very warm conditions. If you do have plans to be out and you're not going to be in the pool, then you should make sure you hydrate. Also wear light colored clothing because that does help. It does help during the heat. And also to just, wear sunscreen as well, because it's definitely going to be very warm for the entire day. Here's your 7-day forecast. The 90s do not let up. In fact, we're getting close to 100 degrees. I think we could still easily hit 100 next week as well. I'm not putting any chances of rain in this forecast. You can see Friday, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. So there's a very small chance that we could maybe see a shower, but right now I'm just going to keep it out of the forecast. It's still a few days away for us to really get a good grip on it. But you can see we're looking at mostly sunny skies, very, very hot weather, but there is a breeze, so that's the good news as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, and even Thursday, breezy conditions, 15 to 20 miles per hour coming out of the south, so it is a bit of a warmer air, but it does provide some relief. And other piece of good news is with the humidity, it looks like it's going to be, at least for the next couple of days, more dry weather in the afternoon. And so that means that it's, it shouldn't add on any more degrees. Usually when it's very humid outside, it makes it feel much warmer than what the temperature actually reads. And just checking to see if y'all have any questions on Facebook. See anything? But I hope everybody is having a good Sunday. And somebody said, good morning from Lake Hills, Texas. Medina Lake is so dry. Yes, Medina Lake has been looking pretty low. It has been for a while, unfortunately. And Dina said, good morning. How long is this 100-degree heat going to last? So it does look, Dina, like it's going to last for the rest of the week, all the way through Saturday. We don't see any fronts coming our way, coming as far south as San Antonio. So, or any upper level patterns. So right now for the rest of the week, it looks like May is going to continue to be above average for this time of year. We're usually around 86 degrees. You can kind of see that average in the top corner. And, even our average low is around 66 degrees. And we're about 5 degrees above that. But, nothing like these high temperatures. This, if anybody were to see it, would think it was summer, that this was summer. This was June or July, which is typically when we start to see 100-degree weather is typically in June. So, yeah, unfortunately, we're not looking at any type of relief. The heat wave is going to continue for the rest of the week. Let me see if there was any other questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining and for watching this Sunday morning. I don't see any more. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions, so I'm just going to leave this 7-day forecast, but actually I'm going to leave this one up, the eclipse, so that everybody can see when you can step outside and look at it. I know it's really late, I know some people have to go to bed to get up to go to work the next day, but it's pretty cool to see this, and I'm going to try to stay up and watch it. So hopefully, I would try to get a picture, but the best way to get a picture of these is some telescopes have the ability to take photos, and there you can get really amazing photos. But if you can try to get a picture, you can definitely send it to us. And there is some more information about the eclipse as far as why it looks red, and more about the forecast, what to expect, when the next eclipse is. There will be another one. This will be in November. So if you do miss this, you can try to see the next eclipse, which would be in November, but we never know what the weather is going to be like. Like I said, we missed the last partial eclipse. Some people did. I tried to see it and I couldn't because it was cloudy. So this is really good conditions. If you can try to look up and see the moon, definitely do it, because we never know. November is very far out, so we may not be able to see it. So if you do get a chance, definitely check it out. So I'll leave this up for a little bit, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday and has a great night. Stay safe, and try to check out the eclipse this evening.